Afternoon all, evening all, wherever you are around the world. Welcome to Sporting BTV, the home of the furlough and playoff champions of the 2022-23 season, Sporting Bengal United, the best team in Tower Hamlets by a country mile. And this is a new thing, guys. Obviously, you can see we've got a great panel here today to talk about the start of the season for Sporting Bengal and, of course, how we're getting on at the moment. And I'm delighted to be joined by the current first team manager, Mr. Stephen Clark. I'm currently delighted as well to be joined by the assistant manager, Matt Kadira, and the GOAT himself, Mr. Stephen Carvel, Sporting Bengal's number 10. Of course, guys, if you are watching on YouTube, as you always are, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We are obviously starting off a brand new sort of show. So first of all, Steve, I'll start with you, first team manager. How you doing? And how's the start of the season been for Sporting?
Thanks for welcoming me on, Luke. Start of the season has gone pretty smoothly. I wouldn't say it's been easy, but we've started very well. I'm very happy at the moment.
Yeah, no, I think first 5 games of the season, obviously to be within 10 points, we're around the top 4 now. After the result yesterday, it's actually been a really good season good start to the season from the boys. Matt, I'll come to you. The first team assistant manager. How you doing, mate? And
all good, Luke. Thanks for having us. I think it's a great start. I think a lot of teams looked at us coming up and didn't really think much of us, and I think we've made our own noise going up, but we had our own expectations, and it wanted just to be a number. But the season started well. I think it started really well, to be honest. Brought some good additions in. The team stayed together a majority of last season, and we cracked on, and the results showed that. Great Wake in the first game of the season. They come down from step 4, come up from step 6. You sort of think there's only going to be one winner, and you didn't think it'd be Sporting Bengal. And on the end of the day, we got the 3 points. So there was only one winner, and that was us at Sporting.
We're definitely going to talk a lot about that. Obviously, the first few games of the season, we're definitely going to talk about the never die sort of attitude from Sporting Bengal United. And obviously, we've got Sporting Bengal's number 10, Stephen Carvel, the 2 goals from him at the weekend. First of all, how are you? And yeah, how's the start of the season been for you?
Yeah, I'm all good, thank you. It's been a good start. I think all the foundations are there. They've been set in place from last season, to be honest. Talking about, Monday, bank holiday, started off pretty even. I think we had the clearer chances, I'll say, to score. It was 50-50, but obviously we got the first goal. And then second half, I think we took the game by the scruff of the neck, and then I think there was only one winner from there.
Talk me through, the game on yesterday. I was about to say Saturday there. It felt like Saturday, really. 3 o'clock kickoff. But you talk about the game yesterday. Obviously, when we get to the stadium, obviously we're all buzzing for the game. We haven't played for around 2 weeks. Obviously, the Tilbury game was our last game. We've had a lot of postponements. And it's obviously been difficult for the boys and obviously all of us to not play, but obviously to get on that pitch, obviously to walk around and get ready for the warm up. Obviously, what goes through your mind, obviously, before the game starts?
I think, talking about Monday's game, I think the boys were still hurting from the last game, Tilbury. I feel like that result wasn't the result that should have happened.
Mm-hmm.
I could see going into the game that the boys just wanted to put it right. It wasn't down to our own performance against Tilbury. Obviously, things happen, red cards, whatever. But yeah, in the warm up, it was nice and sharp. Leaving the change rooms, going out onto the pitch, everyone was ready. From minute 1, all the boys are at. Not just the boys that started as well. The boys that come off the bench, everyone played their part.
Kay, we won't talk about red cards, mate. But obviously, as you said, obviously, I think I agree with you. I think some of the boys from, for the couple of weeks, the Tilbury game, I wasn't there, unfortunately, but you could see the result wasn't really, I think, what we should have deserved, really, in all honesty. Steve, I'll bring you into this as well. It's, the start of the season that Sporting Bengal have had, to go against Great Waker and coming down from step 4 and, putting on a display like that, from going from a goal down. From last season, obviously I refereed a couple of your games last season and obviously referee throughout the whole league. And it was just something about the Sporting Bengal United spirit, like the never die spirit. And it's carrying on from the start of this season as well.
Yeah, it's certainly become a mentality thing that we've developed. It wasn't intentional. We don't intend to go behind. We don't. We really don't.
Who's more stressed out of the 2 of you? On the touchline when you go a goal down.
You don't hear it. I think we got used to that, but it certainly wasn't something we planned for. It was just, we're a new side. I think people, you've got to take that in consideration, and sometimes it takes a long time for players to gel and for everyone to understand what each other's, what the strengths and weaknesses are of each player. And, some managers get time, some don't. But we were always kind of chipping away. And we, one of our greatest strengths was that we never lost twice. When we would lose, we would respond.
Mm-hmm.
And, over the season, that's what we did. And after the Christmas period, we just really took off. I think everything started to really, we were starting to find some form that we didn't have earlier on in the season.
Mm-hmm.
And that we just went from strength to strength. It was great to watch at times, but it's always a challenge. There's always things to learn. But coming back from deficits, I lost count of how many times we did it.
Yeah. But
it's something that we are working on, and we don't want to be doing that this season. We have found ourselves doing it again.
Yeah.
But we've spoke about it. We've worked on it, and I think that was evident in our last couple of results. Although we lost to Tilbury, I felt we were in complete control of that game until we had the man sent off.
Yeah.
So we are certainly going in the right direction.
I think Steve made a good point, Matt, about obviously losing a game is obviously not the result that we want, but it's that bounce back mentality. And I think as well, correct me if I'm wrong, is it 16 to 17 games unbeaten sort of league streak was gone after that game. So, I mean, to then install that into the boys to say, look, we didn't get the result we wanted, but like to keep that confidence level going into a big game yesterday against Barking, I mean, just shows the true character around the squad.
Yeah, do you know what, Luke? It is what Steve said. We never lost one on the bounce. We lost one. We never lost again. We'd go on 3. We'd win 3, I think it was. Then we'd lose a 4th.
Yeah.
Then we'd win 2 or 3, lose a 4th. Listen, if you're winning 1 every 4, 3 out of 4, you're going to have good consistency. But we had to cut out the silly losses. There's a couple bad ones. Wasn't there? Hackney Wick. Hackney Wick was bad, wasn't it, Steve?
Yeah.
Away from home. We were just so flat, went 1-0 up and we lost the game. And then I think it sort of clicked. We brought in Sidi Adera, fantastic goalie from January.
Great coaching as well.
Yeah, he's done well with Luke. He came in January and he sort of really tightened up the ship at the back, confidence, everyone had confidence in him. But the mentality from February onwards is we was always knocking at the door for the playoffs because we was never in the playoffs all the way up to season until I think it's February. And we said once we get in that playoffs, we're never coming out. So I think like the senior players like CARV, he had the same mentality. Once we're in, we're not coming out. Once we got in there, we never came out. And there was games we thought, all right, even the last game of the season, Clark had a run out, I had a run out. I'm not going to say the end result there.
I think we're all looking forward to that this year as well.
There was a red card there, a couple of run. It was horrible. But we won the game still. We got the manager and assistant playing the game. Carvel was on the bench with Crans and other people like that. They got to the playoffs and Wormley was one of our best performances of the season. We just switched on. We actually annihilated them. They're a good side. They were, for me, one of the better teams in the league. And then it was just mentality after that. It was the mentality. We could see from the boys we weren't allowed to lose. Sometimes you're allowed to lose football games, but you could see from the boys, couldn't you, Steve? We weren't allowed to lose this game because the boys put too much in. Over Christmas periods, no games. The boys trained out there on the grass, and Steve was instrumental in that. So make sure you're in. He was there himself, and it's just listen. This group don't know when they're beaten, and that's the truth of it. Like some teams can go, you come back a couple of times. We've done it 13, 14 times. That's like not many teams in the country, like Clark always says, has done that over the last 10 months to come back 14 times from losing positions to win a game of football.
I mean, obviously, we'll talk about, the game yesterday, obviously, Steve, about, we talk about mentality, especially where, we're going through a period as well. We've got a few players out injured, the likes of Van, key player around the squad, and Liam as well. He's been out for, a couple of games for injury. And there's as Matty said, there's that mentality around the sort of, not just the player side, but even us as coaches as well. I mean, how important is it for you as a player to see, when you come to a game like yesterday, and making sure the mentality is always right from our side. The kit's out and the warm up. Like the cones are out on the pitch, etc. So it makes you hopefully feel more comfortable, sort of when you arrive at a game.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's vital. I think even for new players coming in or players that are probably on the bench more than playing and then coming in. I think when they watch the game, they can see what the starting 11 are doing. and they have to buy into it. If they don't buy into it, you can't play for Sporting. I'm afraid that's just how it is. But all the players this season have bought into it 100%. And if the foundations are set, you have to follow the foundations.
And I agree with that. I mean, I've only been new to the club for a couple of months now, and that's what I brought into it. Been brought into it. That's the mentality that you're shown. It's the end of the day, but everyone's welcome, and as long as you show that mentality and you show that your commitment levels, and obviously everyone's going to grow better as a team. I mean, we'll talk about your individual performance, obviously from the first half. Some of the passing that you played in the first half was really good, but one moment I did want to talk about was the first goal, and it was. I think for you, I thought from what I saw, I didn't know if you sort of knew how much space that you had when you was driving through towards goal. But one thing I did want to ask is the mindset that you were going through when you went 1v1 with the goalkeeper. Do you really think about where you're going to go too much in your mind? Do you think about the power into the shot, or is it just natural instinct?
Some people can freeze, can't they?
Exactly.
Get in front of goal and freeze and think, what am I doing here?
Yeah, no, exactly that. And that's sort of what I wanted to ask. What's your thought process during that moment?
Well, when I first got played through, I think it was my first touch was probably on the halfway line.
You're looking for a pass.
No. Before that, I was going to lob the keeper. The keeper was off his line.
But you tried it 10 minutes beforehand. And,
so I was going to try and lob him, but I thought I'm clear, so I've got to have a clear shot at goal. So I'm running. I've took a couple touches. I've heard Sherry on my left somewhere, so I've looked up at him quickly. But if I pass it to him, it probably would have made his chance worse.
More chances wasted.
I had, he was on a dribble or something. But so once I got near the edge of the box, the keeper kind of showed me the near post quite a bit, so I knew if I got a good contact on the near post, he wasn't getting it.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point. I mean, Steve, I'll ask you as well. What's in your mind? Obviously, you see him going through 1v1. We've got a lot of confidence. CARV put it away, and he did. And it was a really good finish. But the relief for you, obviously, seeing we was playing so well and we got the goal we deserved for half time, makes the team talk a little bit easier at half time.
It does. I mean, that particular goal it wasn't so much the goal, it was the way we scored the goal. It was the way we defended. We were disciplined in that moment. Steve sensed the opportunity. I thought it was a great goal. It wasn't, it's not easy. I think Steve made it very easy because if you watch it again, his first touch is excellent. That's really key in those goals. You see it, you watch it,
He nicked about 5 yards for that touch.
You do. Your first touch is so important. You have to nail it. And if you nail that first touch, you're going to score.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't, you allow the defenders to then defend again. And I think just before the actual goal went in, you could see he just composed himself, just slowed himself down, and just tucked it away. It was lovely. It was what we needed, and I think it's what we deserved to go in at 1-0.
Yeah, I asked you the same question. I mean, how's sort of your thought process during that?
Listen, there's a couple of people in the Essex Senior League. It's Karma Steve, and he's one of them. Isn't he? But when he gets on the ball, he's never going to be flustered. You can count on 3 fingers how many times he gets the ball away. And that's probably because he's too far ahead of the game. And once you go on one with a goalie, we could all hear Sherry. Sherry's still probably moaning about it now. We score from it. We're all in Sherry's world. We all live in Sherry's world. That's what we do. But listen, you go 1-on-1, you've got someone like Carvo on the money. He's going to score in it. That is it. I think the whole ground knew he was going to score, didn't they?
Yeah.
No one knew he weren't going to miss. We all knew he was going to score. Every Barking manager's probably thinking, God, the goalie's probably sitting there going, I've got to look busy here. It's in the net. That is it. He's going to score. He's done it a couple of times last year, but I think he done one against Man Bakers last year. The last touch probably got away from him, didn't it? You had a couple of them runs.
Yeah.
But yesterday he was just, mate, hang on.
Well, it's what we deserved. I think, obviously not sounding too biased, but I think it's generally what we deserved throughout the first half display. And I think having that goal for half time, it really sort of settled our nerves into the half time team talk. I mean, we're going to the second half. I think I generally thought first 15, 20 minutes, we struggled a little bit. Like, we wasn't the same intensity in the second half. I mean, the second goal was so crucial because if we just allowed, Barking to have a really good opportunity, they had a really good opportunity in the first half before you scored. And obviously City pulled off a really good save and Sam cleared it off the line. But, I mean, the second goal we'll talk about, the red card, I don't think there's any debate. It was a red card for me. obviously Sherry's through 1v1, and obviously the defender takes him out. But the second goal, we'll talk about that. I mean, it was a great free kick. Me and Matt spoke off air before how difficult it is to get it under the wall.
Yeah.
I mean, I know how difficult it is to get it on top of the wall and in the top corner. I've had experience from it, as you know. Just go on Stephen Carvell's Twitter page, guys, and see the pinned tweet. It's I even nearly clapped and shook his hand. I was. I nearly went over and shook his hand, and it was a cut final. It shows how I remember it. But I mean, the free kick was. Yeah, we've got the second goal; it's deserved. But again, it's the same question as I asked for the first one. Is there like sort of in your mind, like, am I going to go here? Am I going to go far post? Am I going to go towards the goalkeeper side? From what I saw, the goalkeeper did leave a lot of space on the side you went.
Yeah.
But how difficult is it to kind of adjust it? They're going to jump up, and you've got to get that ball right underneath to find the corner, which you did.
It's just trusting yourself, really. I think even though you're going under the wall, you still have to put good enough power onto it. Because if you kind of scuff it, they'll just block it. So you have to just trust your ability and go under the wall. The reason I went under the wall, I knew the keeper was unsighted a bit. I knew you could see around the wall, but it was a bit unsighted once I actually took the free kick. And I know a few of the boys on their team that was in the wall, and they know I normally takes a normal free kick. So I kind of knew they'll jump, expecting me to take my normal type of free kick.
Self-confidence,
sort
of thing.
Yeah,
no, it's good. A little bit of reverse psychology, a little bit there, sort of thing. Steve, again, I'll ask you a sort of question. I mean, the second goal deserved. It was so important to get that second goal because, as I said before, we knew how good we were and how dominant we were in the second half, but you just couldn't allow Barking to really get into that game, especially without getting the second goal. So it was really important that Steve took his free kick really well, so we could really be a bit more comfortable in the second half.
Yeah, again, the scoreline, we don't usually go 2-0 in front. It's not kind of how we operate. But even before that, I think it's the first game this season where you could see that the players were enjoying themselves. At 0-0, they were enjoying themselves. At 1-0, they were enjoying themselves. And I think when you're able to play at that level, that's when you start to enjoy it. At games prior to that, we've been making it hard work for ourselves, and we're having to scrap and claw stuff back, which puts us under pressure. There's no fun, there's no enjoyment in that. And I think because Tilbury, it's a process, it's like a journey. That game, I think we realised, I certainly went into that game not knowing what we were up against, although we'd watched them and we kind of knew what they were about, but until you play that opposition, you don't quite know, and we let them off there.
Yeah.
And it was clear in our performance on Monday that was how the players felt, and we were focused, and we wasn't going to allow ourselves that complacency. And I think we settled down into the game. We knew what we were trying to do, and you could see, because of the way we played and the goals that we scored, that there is enjoyment. And it's not often that you have that, because teams want to beat us, and therefore they play better, and we have to then perform better. But I felt that it was great to see them scoring goals like that, and Sherry to be able to express himself the way he does.
Yeah, I was just going to talk about Sherry. I mean, I'll ask you quickly, Matt, before we talk about the third goal. It's the mentality that Steve mentioned is, the Tilbury game obviously was 1-0 up. We couldn't get that second goal, and obviously the game changed from the sending off. But it didn't let the boys affect them, I think, yesterday. And as Steve said, the main important thing was they were able to enjoy themselves even when we were at 0-0, even when we was at 1-0, and there was still that great mentality that we was always going to get that second goal. So it was a lot more confidence from the boys this time around.
Do you know what? I think we all agree on this. This ain't big-headed either, but if the team beats us and you get absolutely annihilated and go, cool, we've lost to a better team, it can be affected because you go, oh, that must be the level we must aspire to get to. But that wasn't the level. We self-imploded. We had a red card, and it was always going to be tough. Till we hadn't won a game since October at home.
Yeah.
So once they got that red card and they smelt the danger, we got punished. Listen, there's a couple individual areas for the goals that I don't feel like they passed us off the pitch with 10 men. the way some teams should dominate you, but that goes down to our own structure as well. They had to work harder, and it just went on a night. But the Tilbury players off the park, no disrespect to them, no, they got very fortunate with the red card for me. And they beat us. Listen, fair play, we're not bitter about it. They took the 3 points. We learned a lesson from that, being 1-0 up and then getting the man sent off. And we'll learn from that. We went 16 unbeaten. We learned we could win games, but we stopped losing games and we stopped learning. And Tilbury, we learned a lot.
Yeah,
and then we'll just move forward and barking. We bounce back, and Romford Saturday will be a tough one as well.
It will be. I mean, we will go into the Romford game very shortly, but I mean, the third goal, we'll talk about that, Steve. I'll come to you first about, Sherry's goal. And Sherry played a different role. Obviously on Saturday he played more central. Obviously we obviously know he can play out on either flank. Obviously on the left he's more dominant, obviously on that side. But he played very central on Saturday, and from the first minute, I mean, what you asked him, the pressure, to deny that space for Barking, obviously when they were coming for us in the first half when they had possession, and it makes your job a lot easier in midfield when you can pick a pass on the break and out wide the likes of Alagi and Rian, who came in, who played really well. It made them so much more confident, obviously, when Sherry was doing the hard work up front. So obviously to see him get his goal, it was a really good finish as well. It's good work from him. How delighted was you to see him sort of round off a really good performance yesterday?
It's always great to see Sherry, doing something that you ask him to do, because you know that if he's doing that side of the game, he plays better. With Sherry, when he's working hard and he's working for the team, he plays better. When Sherry is trying too hard and wants to impress, he doesn't play so well. I think Sherry's learning that now about his game, and giving him that responsibility to do that role, which we asked him to do on Monday. He did it very well. And I think also playing him centrally just takes a bit of responsibility away from him. Playing centrally, he can play just off the cuff. He doesn't have to fill a certain role or occupy a certain player. So it's something, again, we've learned. We can utilise Sherry through the middle if we need to. But I think naturally Sherry plays better off the left, possibly off of a 9. So, but listen, horses for courses. We knew that pitch could have been an issue for us because we don't play on a 4G, but we know we've got the players that can hurt oppositions on that pitch because we've got players in behind that can pull the strings and win games for us.
And we're back there Saturday, obviously Romford, and I mean I'll ask you, Matt, just quickly, obviously before we go into that, it's seeing, as we spoke about, mentality, etc. But I mean, how impressed was you with a lot of the debut players yesterday? Rian played really well, obviously, when he from the left-hand side yesterday. Isaac played quite well before he had to come off at right back as well. And some players, obviously, that haven't got so many minutes as well. I think Nikolai at right back, I think he was superb, obviously, when he came on in the first half. It just showed around the whole squad that we've got a really good team.
Yeah, do you know it's hunger. Like, you do well, people can't come in and afford to be lazy and sit around and go, it is what it is, we're for a game of football. That playing well, Clarkey won't put you back in the squad and you'll be gone. And you have to come training and you'll be knocking on the door and then you'll be asking questions and texts. Steve, why we're not on the pitch? It's because you're not working hard enough. We had a few of them last year. And it's quite apparent to what everyone's doing here. You've got to work hard. It's non-negotiable. I mean, Sam slotted in at centre half yesterday, had to do a job.
Yeah.
He went in there, he slotted in.
Beckenbauer.
Yeah, Beckenbauer. He slotted in, he done it. He went in, he spoke well. Isaac, who CARV brought over, young right back, unfortunately went off injured.
Yeah.
He put a shift in. He's not going to know everything at 18 years old, but he knew how to tackle and header and pass the ball.
It was really important, just quickly. I think it was really important before he had to come off as well. The challenge, unfortunately, become the worst off it, but it was. He knew he had to go in for that challenge. I think even at this young age, it was like, I'm doing this for the team, and obviously it's showing you're coming into the team with that mentality that we're showing, and he's obviously showing that.
If he's doing that at 18, what's he going to be doing it when he's 20, 21? He's going to be doing it for fun. He's going to want to do it every week.
Yeah.
He's going to want to header a brick if he comes out here. But Taylor come in only 18, 19. Good legs, Dammy. Nikolai, who said Big Yas come off the bench with Sam when he got injured. Rian, superb. Salim coming back after an injury. We had players who probably have not completed 90 minutes this season. Come on. And they enjoyed it. Like Steve said, they wanted to work hard because they knew the result was going our way. They wanted to work hard. And it's a good spirit within the team. I think everyone's got to go that way. So that's the only way we're going to get better.
The only disappointment I think from the game yesterday was, of course, the late penalty. Obviously, I'll bring you in. It's gutting for City, isn't it? Because obviously, second half he didn't really touch the ball much, and obviously just one mistake from us as a team, and obviously we've gifted Barking a goal. But I mean, I'm hoping, going into the game on Saturday, we'll bring that into it as well. We know the mistakes that we have made, even throughout. We didn't have many, obviously, yesterday. But we know as a team that we're going to rectify that and obviously put in a really good performance on Saturday against Romford.
Yeah, I think we deserved a clean sheet. But I think going into that game on Monday, I think we would have took 3 points no matter the score, to be honest. I know last kick of the game, it hurt. But we can't look at it too much and then just go into Saturday with fresh minds, take all the positives out of Monday.
You're hoping, surely, if you play another 3 or 4 passes to Sherry, he's going to put a couple away on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. He'd be better because the man he asked for the ball, he's got to put more in.
I'm hoping he's watching. I'm hoping he watched that. Steve, we'll talk about Saturday. Obviously, Romford, massive game. Obviously, they've had a really good start to the season. They're going to be up there, in my opinion, to be challenging for the league, hopefully like with us, if we carry on this form. But I mean, same place, we're going back to Barking. Obviously, we've had good experience, obviously, from the game yesterday. But, I mean, from that result yesterday, we must be confident going to that game on Saturday.
Yeah, we've watched them, myself and Matt, a couple of times. We were impressed. Watched them again against midweek. It was a midweek game. I think we didn't have a game, or it might have been on the Saturday, I think. They had a lot out. But they're certainly talented. And I think they're like us. They've got a lot of talented players with experience. I think they've managed to do that well. I'd be very surprised if they don't make the top 3, top 4 from what I've seen. They are a team that have come down. There's a lot of expectation on them. And so far, they've done the business. I always tend to say, let's see where we are end of September. But focusing on us for Saturday. We always, I'll talk to myself, but I'm a lot more pessimistic than Matt. Matt's the optimist. I'm the eternal
Don't we know?
So Matt is always, we can win. It doesn't matter who we play.
I agree.
And there's me figuring out, how we're not going to lose type thing. So it's a really good. We strike a good balance, and I don't ever go into games stupidly. I do sometimes thinking we're going to win, and but I guess my job is to prepare the side to the best we can in order for the players to be successful.
Yeah.
So the result is the outcome of preparation. If we do our preparation right, then it often leads to a positive result.
I mean, talking about preparation, obviously I'll bring you in, Matt, on this. Hopefully we'll have some more inclusions into the squad Saturday. Kay will be back from suspension. No more red cards, please, mate. And, maybe Liam could be fit for Saturday as well. It's good squad depth we could have for the game on Saturday against Romford.
See, preparation, it started last night. Everyone went home, celebrated 3 points. But I went, right, Saturday, where do we go? What do we do? Who's in the squad? Who's not in the squad? It starts when an hour or two after you win or you lost. No point having 3 days off because you've lost 3 days of what you're doing. And me and Clarky talk quite often, don't we, Steve? I would have liked probably 2 hours a day on the phone about what we're doing for Saturday or Monday or Wednesday. And who looks fit, who's not sharp, whose body language is good, whose body language is bad, who wants to be a part of it. It's preparation is key. I think our players look after themselves well enough. We don't have no smokers in the team, no drinkers, and I think it shows on the pitch. I think we've got a good balance there, and I think they'll look forward to the next game. It's not sure. Sometimes play for a team and think, can't be asked for this.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have been there. It doesn't matter whenever you play, you wake up and go, can I be asked? Right. They're not the players we're looking for. So preparation, like yourself, Luke, in the groups, it's quite hectic at times and quite intense, but we wouldn't have it any other way, would we, Luke?
No, not at all. I love it.
What do you think of the preparation, Luke? Because you've been and seen it.
From playing, obviously it's a lot different. You're playing from Sunday level to a semi-professional level, and it's the preparation just from anything. It's I see that from yesterday. I see that, we've won this game we won this game yesterday, and straight away the focus is on this game on Saturday, and we're focusing on who's going to be in the squad. We're focusing on the tactics that we're going to play. It's just a breath of fresh air, really, for me.
I think you coming in has been a breath of fresh air. Don't you think, Bobby?
Yeah.
And Joe and Blaine.
Yeah.
I mean, they've come in great additions, all three of you. But you've come in, you've really brought into it. Look, you're really setting up podcasts. The boys really get along with you. You and Silly have struck up a great. You and Silly have struck up a great relationship. Last year, I was doing a lot of goalkeeping coach. Other coach couldn't make it, but you and him got your own bond, and that's what it's about: making relationships in the team and everyone sort of moving forward. And I think you've done really well with that, Luke. So
I appreciate that. No, that's the thing, and obviously, I've come into this. Obviously, I knew yourself. I played against you, and Sherry, I played against him as well. And obviously, I knew a few faces, but I think that's what I've enjoyed most about coming to this side. We spoke about the mentality earlier, but also the welcomeness, and if that's a word, but everyone's willing to sort of hear sort of how you feel something should go, and how you sort of think that we can improve as a team. And it's just little different things. We spoke about setting up before a game, and after a game we're all together as a team, and even if we lose, we're still upbeat, we're still ready for the next game. And obviously we're Sporting Bengal United, that's what we are, playoff winners. And we push on to next season, or this season, obviously next season. We push on to now, obviously. We push on to Saturday. But lastly, before we go, obviously I'm going to come to you for, I'm not going to do predictions. Obviously, I'm not that sort of person. But I mean, we're hoping for a similar sort of performance on Saturday. Obviously, hopefully 3 points, but we know it's going to be a tough game on Saturday. Romford are a good side. So, how do you feel, obviously, like the boys can sort of cope from this, it's a quick changeover, really, from 4 to 5 days into a real big game?
Yeah, well, we're on the 4G again, so we know what to expect. I think it'll be a tough game. Kind of similar to Monday, but I think they'll probably be a bit more, wouldn't say organised, maybe a bit more know-how, I think.
Maybe a bit more quality.
And quality as well, yeah.
Perhaps.
But I think it's always about how we approach the game and how we play. I think if we approach the game how we normally do, when we need to be at it and not just thinking we're going to turn up and win, I think then we have every chance of winning. And I think just play a normal game when we're at it, and then we can get 3 points.
Let's hope so. Obviously, I think we'll wrap it there, guys. I think we've spoke about Saturday. Monday was. I keep saying that, don't I? Monday. So just feel that Saturday 3 o'clock kick. Yeah, exactly. But
Monday, we don't normally play Mondays, do we?
Not at all.
3 o'clock.
Yeah, it's 3 o'clock. You're sitting there.
If it's a midweek, it's Tuesday, Wednesday, isn't it? Sort of
Last Monday we played with Ilford, wasn't it? That's 7:45.
Right,
That's a chaotic game as well, wasn't it? Come back 4-2.
I think the games that we've done, I mean, Ilford, the 2-0 down at half time, we've had to regroup and obviously come out of the win. And, like the FA Cup games, like we didn't play well during the games, but we still had that character to get back into the game. But yeah, Saturday's going to be a really interesting game, and hopefully we can get the result that we need. But I think we'll wrap it there, guys. Obviously, been half an hour or so, but it's been a really good chat. Steve, CARVs, the GOAT, as everybody, as you're calling him.
Sporting Bengal GOAT.
The Sporting Bengal number 10 GOAT.
Sporting Bengal's history. And he's still going strong, scoring winners for us. Unbelievable.
Two really, really important, brilliant goals for the team. But yeah, we'll wrap it there, guys. Obviously, if you haven't already, make sure that you hit that like button and, of course, subscribe to Sporting Bengal TV. And as I said, we're going to be doing a lot more previews and reviews of games, and obviously we're going to do some more live streams over the next week or so. But until then, we've been Sporting Bengal United FC, the best team in Tower Hamlets, of course. Take it easy. I know Matt like that one. Take it easy, and we will speak and see you all very, very